We're going to talk a little bit about dynamic warm-up today. We have three main things we want to do in dynamic warm-up. The first one is to warm the muscle. When we say warm the muscle, we want to raise the core temperature of the body. We want to kind of get activity going. If you want to use an analogy, you put water on a stove, you turn up the heat, the water begins to boil, there's activity in the water. The second thing we want to do is to stretch the muscles. You never know what position you're going to be in the game. You might be in a lunge position. We want to take the body through a full range of motion. The joints, the muscles, we want to get that stuff ready to go. The third one is we want to teach the muscle. We want to reinforce positive movement mechanics. We want to reinforce the things that we want to become second nature in the game. So to reiterate, we want to warm the muscle, we want to stretch the muscle, we want to teach the muscle, get athletes ready to play. The number one reason we do dynamic warm-up is injury prevention. We think of it as prehabilitation, doing all the work beforehand, our insurance, so nothing happens during the contest, during the competition.
Okay, this one right here is a heel to toe walk. You want to think about having your full contact of the heel all the way to the toe. This is great for ankle warm-up. This one's ankle flips. This is a little bit more dynamic. You want to think of your foot as a diving board. Be on the front part of your foot and really springing up, and think about dorsiflexion. So, toes pointed up. Ankle skips. This is another one. This is a great one. This helps with the ankle flexion and movement, mobility within the ankle, which is very important for the total movement when running. It's a slide kick run. Here's right here, you're thinking about sliding your heel straight up through your hamstring and getting a small cycle going forward. What we want to do is for 10 yards we want to load the body, and then for the next 10 yards we want to unload it. So we normally do things going 10 yards and then running out. This is knee hugs. This is a great dynamic stretch for the glutes, hamstrings, and hips, hip flexors. And we're always thinking about pulling your knee, pulling straight up, so you finish in a triple extension. That means your ankle, knee, and hip is fully extended. Old school butt kicks. That's right here, old school butt kicks. I think everybody knows what that is. You're just thinking about running forward, staying nice and tall, bringing our heels to our butts. You should be able to hear this. 10 yards, do that, and run it on out. Heel to hamstring run. Taking our heels coming up to your hamstrings, and a nice run. A skip. This is a great mechanical warm-up for proper running mechanics. You want to think about knee up, toe up, heel up, a nice little bounce to it. Really think about driving your foot back down into the ground. Swivel skips. Any type of skip is going to be a great warm-up. We want to think about still, knee up, toe up, heel up. This time we're swiveling our knees, it's coming across our body. So we're getting a dynamic stretch throughout our hips. And the opposite of that is armpit skip. So now we're bringing our knees up outside of our midline. So thinking about knees coming up to your armpits. Still, knee up, toe up, heel up. Knee up, toe up, heel up. There's proper lower body mechanics for running. Backward armpit skips. This is great for moving backwards for all the DBs and quarterbacks of the world. When you're moving backwards, you want to think about that drop step, having to swivel your hips open and be able to turn. We also get a nice little deep squat in there too, so that's another great stretch for the hips and glutes. Frankenstein march. This is another great dynamic stretch for your hamstrings. Right here we're going every step. You want to finish on the balls of your feet. For 10 yards, then running on out. It's a great stretch for your hamstrings. Movement based. This making a little dynamic. Now we're just adding a little pop in there, so a little skip in there. You want to come opposite hand to opposite foot. Still want to keep the body going forward, nose over toes. Alright, now we into the lateral movement part. This is the big arm shuffle. And now when we warm up, our athletes want to think about warming up from the foot all the way up to the upper body. You want to think also of moving forward, laterally, and backwards. Here is a nice little shuffle. You want to think about pointing your toes forward. Even though we're moving laterally, you still want to have your toes pointing forward, and you're never hitting your feet together. You never want to be in a situation where your athletes or your feet are close together or crossed over. You want to be able to move in either direction. This one here is a karaoke, or some people call it grapevine. You want to think about going forward and back with your feet, your hips and shoulders want to stay square. And we always tell the athletes to, but then you have a plate glass that just splits your body. You want to smash the plate glass with your back leg. Here, go the other way. And once again, you want to load your body for 10 yards and load. Two-step lateral skip. This is a really good exercise and teaching the skill of pushing. You want to be able to push off the back leg and stabilize off the front. So we're thinking 2 steps off the back leg and then 2 steps off the front. But think about pushing. Push, stabilize, push, stabilize, push, stabilize. Still, once again, with movement mechanics, knee up, toe up, heel up. Knee up, toe up, heel up. Push, stabilize, push, stabilize. Straight leg, lateral bound. This right here, both legs are straight. Toes are still pointing, facing forward or facing the camera, and thinking about pushing, push off that back leg. Sometimes we forget about how important the muscles and the size of our legs are. Those are stabilized muscles, help stabilize the larger muscles with the quads and hamstrings. About pushing, thinking from low to go, low to go. Lateral 3-step skip. This one involves a little bit more coordination here. Now we're getting two steps off of our back leg and 1 off our front. When we're moving laterally, especially in this drill, you want to think about staying in the tunnel. The tunnel is a little bit smaller than we are, so you want to be in an athletic position, and you don't want to be bumping your head on the tunnel, on the roof of the tunnel, I should say. So it's 2 off the back leg, 1 off the front. 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. And the same thing, when moving laterally, you want to think about pushing the ground, push to go, push, stabilize, push, stabilize. This is a tapioca and then a karaoke. Tapioca is going to be a quick karaoke for about 5 yards. Here's where we're turning on the muscle fibers or the nervous system. Whenever you thinking about warming up the muscle, you want to think of it as warming up. We're stretching, we're teaching the muscles, we're turning on the muscles as well. So thinking about full rotation of the hips, really short, and then we make it really long. Same thing coming back. You want to have your feet point in the direction that you want to go. Now we're moving to the backwards part of this, and this was a backwards run, and it's basically a forward run, but we just pressed the rewind button, so it should still look the same. Still facing forward, thinking about pushing the ground and leading with our heels going backwards. This is a great stretch and great warm up for our hamstrings. Our athlete does